liwa sasa hivi bungeni kuhusiana na sakata ya mafuta katika kamati inayoongozwa na mbunge David Gikaria. Tuvuke huko moja kwa moja tupate kusikia yale ambayo yanajiri.
On the ministry to confirm officers who have been identified as culpable so far and what disciplinary or legal action has been initiated against them and so on and so forth. Honorable Chair, again, we are properly informed and advised that this particular matter is under very active investigation by the DCI, and therefore we would not wish to preempt the outcome of the investigations. Question 8. The Ministry, EPRA and KPC to explain why the fuel was allowed into storage and so on and so forth. Again, we are referring the Honorable Committee through its chair and members to the responses under question 5 that deals with this question also. Question 9. The Ministry and EPRA to clarify how much of the fuel consumers reach consumers and what immediate measures have been taken to trace, recall. Honorable Chair, it is important to go on record that even though the matter is under active investigation by the DCI, as I've said earlier on, the government, through the Ministry of Energy and Petroleum, has since taken the following actions. 1, directed the importer to withdraw all invoices and issue credit notes to the oil marketing companies, who again have been instructed not to take the consignments. 2, directed that the consignment be removed from Kenya as soon as possible. The importer, Honorable Chair, has duly confirmed that they have taken the necessary steps to comply with this directive. And 3, the consignment shall not be included in any petroleum pump price computations. Beginning with tomorrow, Honorable Chair, as you know, tomorrow the 14th, EPRA will be announcing prices of petroleum products in accordance with the law. The cost of this particular consignment, I repeat, shall not be included in the petroleum pump price computations whatsoever. Question 10. The Ministry and EPRA to explain what safeguards fail in preventing this occurrence and the measures to ensure that such failures will not occur, and so on and so forth. Honorable Chair, simply, the Ministry and its agencies, and they are here, are continually reviewing their processes to optimize them and ensure compliance with the law at all times. Honorable Chair, question 11. The Ministry to explain what statutory reforms are being implemented to eliminate discretion and close loopholes in petroleum importation and quality control, and so on and so forth. Honorable Chair and members, the Ministry has initiated a comprehensive internal review of petroleum products management systems and processes. This measure is aimed at reinforcing transparency, safeguarding quality, and ensuring the continued integrity of the supply chain. The Ministry continues to work very, very closely with relevant agencies to maintain oversight and operational stability within the sector. And finally, Honorable Chair and members, the Ministry reaffirms its commitment to maintaining the integrity, stability, transparency, and accountability of the petroleum supply chain under the G2G framework. Question 12. Whether there were any test results which were altered, waived, or conditionally approved, and so on and so forth, Honorable Chair. No test results were altered. Notwithstanding, of course, a waiver was sought from KEBS and duly granted. Question 13. What due diligence was conducted by KPC before accepting the fuel, and so on and so forth? Honorable Chair, from the records, KPC conducted due diligence for the consignment as per its internal procedures. 1, review of the load port report of analysis after it was received from the importer, and B, pre and post discharge testing and by KPC laboratory. Question 14, where there were any special permits, directives, exemptions issued to facilitate these imports. Again, as indicated in paragraph 3, Honorable Chair and members, a brief on the supply position was presented to the Principal Secretary for consideration and approval. Again, I refer you to Appendix 6. Again, as indicated in paragraph 7, Honorable Chair, certain parameters were off spec, and therefore a waiver was sought from KEBS. Again, the question 15, Honorable Chair, why the interagency coordination mechanisms failed and so on and so forth, we are referring you, Honorable Chair and members, to our responses under questions 12 and 13. And finally, Honorable Chair, question 16. If there's a breakdown in the exclusivity or enforcement of the G2G arrangement, does the current framework allow parallel importation without PEPCO's visibility? Honorable Chair, as I said from my opening remarks, fuel importation into this country is governed solely by the Petroleum Act of 2019 and the Petroleum Importation Regulations of 2023. That is legal notice number 3 of 2023, which provides for the importation of petroleum products under a G2G arrangement or through the OTS. As such, Honorable Chair and members, there is no other method, no other framework known by law apart from these two for importation of petroleum products. I submit. Thank you, Honorable Chair and members.
Waziri, I think honorable members, Waziri has made his presentation and given us responses to all the 16 areas that this committee wanted, and he has, through his presentation, indicated the Petroleum Act 2019 and the Petroleum Importation Regulations of 2023, and as to whether the ministry and the relevant agencies did comply with the law. Honorable Waziri, sometimes back there was the Triton scandal that really put this country into a lot of mess regarding the petroleum importation. And it's after that that these were addressed legally and effectively by the Petroleum Act of 2019 and, of course, the regulations that followed thereafter. In your submission, honorable members, he has indicated that under the law, we can only import, and there are two provisions which have been given, and G2G is part of the open tender system. So basically, that is it. Honorable members, I want to open the floor for clarification, questions, and we'll be taking them in batches so that we can be able now to go. Of course, there are some attachments of annexes which have been attached, and he has indicated for every question, if there is an attachment, he has indicated to that effect, and it is within our files. So I open the floor. We will start by 3 questions, and then we move to the next phase. Karibu Bwana King'ara. We have Walter and Barongo.
Okay, thank you, Chair. May I start by sharing that the answers look convincing, but nevertheless we need to have more clarification on some matters. Mr. Chairman, when it came to G2G, it was set in a manner whereby we will have sufficient fuel supply in this country. My assumption was then that there should be enough buffer which should take care of any shortcoming. Now that one would have even taken care of some delays on vessel leaving or come to Mombasa. Maybe, Mr. Chairman, can the CS share with us what is the buffer which we hold matters fuel, that is diesel and other fuel product. Number two, the outcome of fuel coming out of G2G, has it happened before? Because maybe somebody just raised a flag, and maybe when the flag was down, these things were happening. Thank you, Chair.
Walter.
Thank you, Chair. Bwana Waziri, thank you for the response. Now, transaction of this magnitude and for such a sensitive product, I thought the approval should be done at the highest level in the ministry, which is your office. Are you saying that you are never privy to all these things, Waziri? Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. I was looking at the documents, Bwana CS, and the reason why this substandard cargo may have been consented is seen to be because of an impending supply shortage. From the look of the minutes, the importer Gulf Energy seems to have made alternative arrangements in the way of two smaller ships that were supposed to arrive in time so that the country does not stock out. Could the impending supply shortage have been manufactured, and could you have been misled? My second question is, in the wake of this breach of the system's resilience, 3 energy officials who are very senior have resigned. Do you take it that it could have been because of, manipulation of some sort, that you as the person who, to whom the buck stops, could that have been the reason why you may accept the fact that they needed to step down? And finally, the public wants to know why 3 senior energy officials that report to you, why they have resigned, and the public would like to know, why do you think you should continue in your role? Thank you very much.
Yes, we agreed 3.
Yes,
so we will go with that.
Thank you.
Karibu, Waziri.
So I don't lose track of the questions.
Correct.
Yes, thank you very much, Honorable Chair. Let me say this, and starting with the question by the Honorable King'ara of Ruiru. Honorable Chair, to our knowledge, and from the records, since the first cargo under G2G arrived in Kenya in April or thereabout of 2023, there has been no fuel imported outside the G2G framework until this contentious consignment came. From the records and to our knowledge. Honorable Chair, from the records, this is the first consignment that came and discharged outside the G2G framework. 2 is that, Honorable Chair, we are yet to establish fuel reserves. We are working very closely because we have got proposals from various private players who would want to partner with the government to establish contingency storage facilities in Mombasa. But as at now, Honorable Chair, the country, of course, relies on fuel as it comes, based on the schedules agreed upon. It comes, it's discharged, it is consumed, and so on and so forth. And the G2G has worked very well. You'll agree with me, Honorable Chair and members. The G2G has worked seamlessly from its inception up to now. It has helped us address the issue of shortage of fuel. As a matter of fact, Honorable Chair, Kenya is one of the very, very few countries in this region and beyond that have not experienced biting fuel shortages. Even in the aftermath or in the wake of the Israeli/US Iran war, the few cases of shortages that have been reported, we have confirmed, have basically been occasioned by players in the supply chain. But otherwise, the system of G2G has been robust enough to guarantee Kenya a steady supply of quality petroleum products.
Before you leave there, Waziri, then can you, as you're saying, you're working out on how to understand from the respective players as to the stock reserves. Internationally, what is the recommended reserve internationally, so that at least also us as a committee can understand the international standards?
Okay, I will pack that, and my friend Edward Kenya will respond to it shortly. So, Honorable Chair, allow me to go to the question from the Honorable Walter Owen. And from the outset, again, let me be very clear that since G2G framework was a framework established upon a cabinet resolution, and governed by law, as I've said earlier on, any deviation from it would naturally require a concurrence of or approval by the cabinet, in my view. So, Honorable Chair, I have already stated that the method, the procurement of this particular vessel or consignment was recommended by a technical committee. And a brief on stock position and proposals for delivery of PMS was prepared and forwarded to the PS. Honorable Chair, of course, the PS in his wisdom did approve it. But Honorable Chair, when it emerged, now I think on the 30th of March, to be specific, 30th of March, so Monday, when it emerged that actually this particular consignment had come outside G2G, we moved very swiftly. Okay? As I told you earlier on, such a deviation from the established framework would have required higher approvals. I personally moved swiftly and briefed His Excellency the President on the 30th of March, when it became very clear now that this consignment was outside G2G. It is upon that brief that actually His Excellency advised me to take the necessary steps to have the second cargo, which was en route, stopped. I did, of course, to instruct the PS to take the necessary actions to comply with that directive. Okay? So to answer Honorable Owino's question in short, this would definitely have required a higher approval, such deviation from the established framework. On Honorable Barongo's question, sorry, I am saying the approval of the Cabinet Secretary was not sought. Okay? Of course, if it was sought formally, I would have acted on it one way or the other. And most definitely, I would have escalated it to His Excellency the President and, of course, the Cabinet. Remember, up to this time, we had no idea that this thing was outside G2G. Yeah. None of these guys, I think, was aware that this thing was outside G2G and the OTS as established by the law. On the question of Honorable Barongo, you know, the question of data, stocks data being manufactured, is one of the issues being investigated. If you will recall the communication by the head of public service on, just to be specific, yes, the head of public service on the 5th of April, 2026, okay? Sorry, not 5th, sorry. Not that one. Let me just confirm again. Yes. I cannot have it. I can confirm which document, which date it was. But you will recall that in his statement to the public, when he was announcing the resignation of some of the officers, yes, it was clear that the issue of stocks was in doubt. And this is one of the matters that the DCI are investigating. And therefore, I wouldn't want to delve deeper into it. But again,
is that communication annexed anyway in our report?
No.
Not
no.
Yet. So we
it's
will
not.
be requesting.
It's not. It was a public.
Just for.
We can have it printed, but I can look at it.
Okay.
Okay, sorry. So there is something here. This was, I can see the end. Okay, I can see now, fine. This was on the 4th of April, yeah, when the head of public service issued a statement. I'm aware that the DCI are actively investigating that. So, again, as to why 3 or so officers have resigned, as asked by Honorable Barongo, I cannot say. Yes, because I do not know why they resigned. Yes. Okay. What I know is that investigations are going on, and you know, resignation is a voluntary thing. Again, I must qualify that. When you resign, you can have your reasons, and you are free to state them or not to state them. Okay?
Maybe, Waziri, so that I don't want to go back into this later when I'm doing my final remarks, just to understand their resignation. This must have been appointed, the officers were appointed by someone, So they sent those letters to the appointing people. Maybe we could understand so that we know, because in that letter they must have indicated as to the reason. So maybe we will also be asking later on the respective appointing authority, also through your office, to avail a copy of, for purposes of the committee.
Honorable Chair, there's no evidence of coercion.
People are talking out of record.
Yeah. No, I am just saying, of course, Barongo did ask as to why under Waziri, rightfully, he has said he wouldn't have any, he doesn't know why they resigned, but at the same time, there is the body of those resignation, it is somewhere within, so we are asking your office, through your office, to give us, to avail. Honorable members, I think he's done with that. We have
no, there was something remaining for Honorable Barongo. There's Honorable Chair, I know. When all is said and done, when all is said and done, in the final analysis, clearly there is no reason to stop me from continuing to discharge my duties as Cabinet Secretary for Energy and Petroleum. Thanks.
We will go. I will start with Vice Chair, then we'll go to Elisha, and then we go to Tom, and then, yes, they had actually raised their hand a long time ago. So we have, of course, by virtue of Vice Chair being, so we have, and then Karibu.
Chair, thank you, Chair. Chair, my question would be to the Cabinet Secretary to tell us, the country, whether the country has incurred any losses in terms of money in this camp, and who should bear the cost of that loss. Secondly, Chair, I think we have these now oil that we've got in this country, and we have seen also the war in Gulf. Waziri, don't you think we need a Kenya refinery now that we have a crisis in this country, or even going forward? Should this country not think that we need a refinery so that we can check also on our oil instead of importing it? And lastly, Chair, the Cabinet Secretary have asked us, or told this committee, that tomorrow EPRA will be announcing prices. Waziri, would you disclose to us whether the prices will go up and by how much, and what should Kenyans expect on it? Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you, Chair. I think, Chair, I want to get you back on when you were Chair in 2018. I raised concerns with the then Minister for Petroleum. My recommendation then was we need to have a more robust national oil company like Zambia that then can have stock for oil. And I think then they played politics with it. But next to it, in 2020, there was a consignment that was almost getting to Mombasa, and KPC then rejected that consignment because it has the oxygenation levels and sulfur was above compliance levels. I think, Chair, you can remember. It was before a committee, and Macharia then was the MD of KPC. So, see, as you have said, you're relooking at the petroleum system, the integrated petroleum system, that would be more comprehensive to be able to help us, not to have a repeat of what happened the other day. But what I was alluding to is, this is not the first time fuel has been rejected in Kenya. But having said that, CS, Kenyans have a concern that with America and Israel and Iran war, what is the situation of fuel in the country today as we talk? For how long are we going to have fuel? Because there are many people, the upper middle class, are ensuring that all their cars are petrol, while the lower ones who rely on their salaries, they can't compete with the upper middle. are we safeguarding the interests of all Kenya, irrespective of your position in the society? And more importantly, I will allude to what Honorable Alamat has raised. You know, the palm price is the talk of town today, and Kenyans are waiting with a bated breath tomorrow whether the price would go up or government under the Petroleum Act will intervene to ensure Wanjiku does not have to pay more for fuel, does not have to pay more for cooking oil, does not have to pay more for transport. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you, Chair. My name is Mawade, MP Embakasi South, and a member of this committee.
Thank you, Chair. You'll allow me to take Waziri back to question number 7, which he explained they never wanted to go deep into details because the matter is under investigations. Waziri, as we are seated here, the information we are giving you are much of what has been covered by the press than what we have gotten officially from you. That's why we never wanted to go into details of the issues, but I think naming the culprits or the people suspected might not interfere with any investigations. It's just for our information. We get it directly from you so that we don't rely on what is covered in the press. We might be charging people wrongly who are not in your list. But by you delivering that one to the committee here, I don't think that one will interfere with any investigation. Number 2, you've accepted resignations of the affected officers, which to me is wrong. Because an officer or a government officer or a public officer under investigations is not free to leave his job because the office is under investigation. Such an officer can be suspended or interdicted pending the outcome of the investigations. Because when you resign, it's like now you don't have any attachment with that office. So by accepting a resignation to me is wrong. It would have waited until cases are concluded, but you can step aside for that investigation to be concluded. Thank you, Chair.
We are going 3, then we go another 3. We're just about to finish. Karibu Waziri.
Yes, just give me a minute. I check something here. Okay, good. Honorable Chair, the issue raised by Honorable Aramat on any possible losses to the public and who should carry the burden. I'm just giving you some. I'm just taking up this document. Okay, this is 5th, 4th, and anyway, let me just say this: that the Honorable Chair and members. Yes, very good. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, good. Honorable Chair and members, I have said repeatedly, and let me just repeat for avoidance of doubt, that the public shall not suffer any loss whatsoever from the importation of the consignment in question. You will recall from my press statement of 7th April 2026, which if you allow me, I could read sections of it. I had said in that statement, Honorable Chair, that if that particular consignment of petrol, PMS, was to be factored in the computation of petroleum prices in this next cycle, that is tomorrow, beginning tomorrow, it would have meant an increase of 14 shillings per litre if that consignment was factored. But because I had directed that it should not be factored in the costing of this petroleum price, that increase on that account will not be there, on the account of this consignment. And I did say in my statement, Honorable Chair, that one petroleum company that imported the said product was to immediately withdraw all invoices issued and raise credit notes. And two, the oil marketing companies should neither pay the invoices nor uplift the product from this consignment. And finally, not finally, really, third, one petroleum was directed to exit the product out of Kenya. And finally, EPRA was subsequently going to exclude this product from the monthly computation of petroleum product costs. The need for a refinery, Honorable Chair, is a commercial question. And your committee has been very, very robust in interrogating this matter. I am happy to report, Honorable Chair, that for the first time in Kenya's history, under the administration led by His Excellency Dr. William Ruto, we are going to see the first commercial drilling of oil from South Lokichar. The company involved has given us an assurance as late as last week that they are on course. In fact, on 24th of this month, I'll be traveling to South Lokichar.
Mtazamaji, tunarejea hapa lakini kwa sasa nakamilisha. Wakati ambapo ninakamilisha, ukweli ni kwamba dakika kidogo zijazo Linda Alela atakuwepo hapa kwa habari hizo, lakini kwa lugha ya Kizungu, wakati ambapo tunaendelea kusikiza upande huo wa pili ambako Opio Wandayi yuko na ambako anajitetea kuhusiana na uagizaji wa mafuta kwa kile ambacho wanasema tayari mpango wa serikali hadi serikali, ama kwa lugha ya Kizungu G2G, ni kitu ambacho kimefanya kazi, akihakikishia Wakenya kwamba hakutakuwepo na uhaba wa mafuta. Wabunge wakiibua maswali makali kuhusiana na hapo kesho ambapo wanatarajiwa kutangaza bei mpya za mafuta, maswali makuu yakisalia iwapo bei hizo zitabadilika, kutakuwepo na ongezeko la mafuta. Ni taarifa ambazo tunafuatilia na baadaye tutakuwa tukikujuza mengi, lakini usijaribu kucheza mbali, maana tukitoka hapa baadaye tunaingia katika lugha ya Kizungu, lakini bado ni habari kutoka kaunti zote 47. Jina langu Elizabeth Mutuku, tupatane baadaye papa hapa ni kujuze mengi zaidi.